Will Freeman lost his chance 2 weeks ago to become the next representative for South Carolina House District 110. But now he's supporting Russell Guerard in the runoff. I speak exclusively with Will for a special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And be sure to download the free Quintin's Close-Ups app in your Apple or Google Play stores. Or listen to this interview later on the free iHeartRadio app. Well, as we sit here right now, which is 2 blocks away from here, Representative Katie Arrington, who's running for the 1st Congressional District on the Republican side, is in the hospital after a fatal accident in Adams on Friday. Where are you emotionally with this news?
Well, emotionally, my thoughts and prayers are with Katie and her family and all those involved. I know there's a prayer service that was held earlier today, and that's where I'm at. I think we all need to come together, just pray for fast healing for her and for condolences for the lives lost and for her friend who is in the hospital as well. Because this is one of those things that's above politics, and so it's more of a personal thing. And I think we just all need to send our thoughts and prayers in that direction. So.
But let me get you back to politics. House District 110. This is one of the races that everyone's focused on right now. Obviously, there's a runoff on Tuesday. How ready are you for Tuesday?
Oh, I am so ready. It's been a very contentious race between Russell Guerard and William Cogswell. I came up short, 11%, 411 votes, But I endorsed Russell. I believe he's going to be the best direction that for our district. Me and him agree a lot on platform, and especially with ethics reform and constituent services. I think he'll do a great job. Just really hoping that people turn out to vote and support Russell on Tuesday.
Let me get back to that. Constituent services. What are those services right now for House District 110?
Well, I mean, we're seeing right now with Representative Cogswell currently, like he doesn't show up to any meetings. I haven't seen him go around, with using the bully pulpit of his job as a representative really effectively at all. The only real tangible effort of constituent services we've seen from him is a $250,000 earmark that he put for the Charleston Library Society, of which he's on the board of trustees for, which seems to be a bit of an ethical concern for me. The Post and Courier recently did a story about this. Right. Studying that, so that seems to be a bit of an issue for me. I think Russell's been part of this community his entire life. His family has been part of this community his entire life. I mean, his father was a representative. I think his grandfather was governor. Like, he comes from a family of public servants, and I think he'll fit right into that role if he gets elected on Tuesday.
Let me go back to your Facebook post that you posted probably a day right after the particular primary. You said this quote: "Once again, I would like to thank all of those who voted for me, and though we didn't win, I'm proud of what we accomplished." There's a runoff for District 110, and it's important we have someone who will fight for real ethics reform in this state. You talked about ethics reform earlier in this particular interview. What does that look like right now?
Well, it looks like right now the problem is you have legislators who, like I just mentioned with that earmark, who are putting money for stuff that personally benefits them, or putting, and then in Columbia we have instances of relatives getting, put on boards and commissions. I don't think that's a thing that should happen. And also a general culture of corruption going on there. You see with the Pasco investigation, everything related with the Quins. It's just a habitual culture that's just not doing any favors to the people of the state. I know Russell has ran several times, just repeats the message over and over again: I'm here for ethics reform, I'm here for ethics reform. He wants full income disclosure. I mean, you can look at his website for his detail, his platform, but I think in terms of actually going and fixing the root cause of a lot of our state's issues, it comes back to ethics reform. And I think once we get that solved, a lot of other stuff will be a lot easier to fall in line. So
if I were to interview you on Wednesday, what can I expect from you if someone wins this particular runoff?
What I hope to be saying on Wednesday is congratulations, Russell, on winning the Republican nomination for House District 110. But what you'll expect to hear me say is, okay, so now we got to move forward and we got to focus on winning the general election, because there's going to be a pretty tough candidate in Ben Pogue on the Democratic side. He's done some pretty considerable fundraising, so we got to keep our eye on the prize here, because just because he won the primary doesn't mean we've won the election or the seat yet. We have to have to be mindful of the general election, because this is not taking anything for granted. While yes, the district might be favorable towards Republicans, the recent and current political environment might give them a bit of a more of an enthusiasm gap on the Democratic side, so that might help them out. So we need to have someone who's going to be a strong candidate going forward, and we need to all rally behind that person when the primaries race is over. So that starts on Wednesday.
How strong is the future of the House District 110?
Very strong. It's it's downtown Charleston and Mount Pleasant. I mean that's a booming area economically for tourists, people moving in. I mean it's actually been too successful because we're having issues with growth and managing that growth and infrastructure. I think the future of Mount Pleasant and downtown Charleston is going to really come down to how they handle that growth, what policies you put into place for that growth, and how we make sure that we don't overregulate some of our citizens in terms of taxes and not doing services on the other side, because that's going to really detach. I mean, we have to get back to kind of seeing what some of the issues are and tackling them, and that's got to be infrastructure, it's got to be flooding. I mean, it's the future of Mount Pleasant, of this District 110, is going to have to be on how we handle that growth and handle our success, and make sure that we don't overreach ourselves and damage what this precious pearl that we have, especially like Shin Creek. It's one of the pearls within that district. It's the historic district of downtown. We have to make sure that we protect what we have, and manage the growth we have going forward.
I gotta go back.
Gotta go back. Okay.
So obviously Russell Guerard is obviously a contender for the runoff.
Mm-hmm.
You're supporting him.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have William Cogswell as a contender as well. What's right and what's wrong with what both of them are saying during this runoff right now?
So what's right with okay? Well, I say what's right with what Russell's saying is he's made a point to point out some of the absenteeism on the votes there for Cogswell, and pointing out that we need to get about some of the core issues that we're having to deal with, with SCANA and with infrastructure. What William seems to be doing is he tries to hit on the conservation side of things. That's something he's brought up that Russell hasn't, but I mean that's all part of the overarching how to manage development, everything that folds into that message. And I will say it's a little disingenuous for Representative Cogswell to say he accidentally voted for that earmark, or that he that he's shown up and didn't miss all these votes, really, because if you look at his records in voting, he voted for real estate bills, which would have been a conflict of interest, knowing his day job on the one hand, and then purposely skipped over bills that might have to deal with any pro-choice or pro-life issues, and then comes back right after that and votes for a real estate bill. So I think he needs to be a bit more truthful about the record of what he does actually vote on. So that's where I would say with that race is, and I think with Russell, he needs to just talk more about about how he's been part of this community this whole time. He's been fighting for this community long before Cogswell showed up on the scene. So I think that's something that needs to be brought up, and I think hopefully voters will see that when they look into him here, and hopefully vote for him on Tuesday.
Let me get back to you.
Okay.
Obviously, you did not win this particular race.
Mm-hmm.
What's your political future looking like in your crystal ball?
Well, right now I'm just going to stick to making sure we get some of our candidates winning in November. Once Katie gets back on her feet, get that race going, and hopefully and whoever wins District 110 to make sure that that the Republican candidate wins in November. For me personally, I mean, I'm still working full time. I'm getting my master's right now at the Citadel, so I'll focus on the home front for a while. If something comes up later on, then that's fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But right now, I'm just gonna stick to home base and support our candidates going forward in November.
Will Freeman, thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate this.
Thank you, Quintin.
You're welcome.
Stay cool.